50, who own your masters? Who own your masters? I buy your masters. You better shut up. I will buy your masters.
I want to do a BMF film because you've been entertained by a lackluster, small budget series. Now it's time to do a big budget film. Which director? Shout out to my homie F. Gary Gray, Antoine Foucault, what's up? Tarantino. It's a lot of legends. This is gonna be big, I can feel it. I'm just talking.
This one's got the entire hip-hop world losing its mind right now. Word on the street is Big Meech, the real-life kingpin and living legend behind BMF, the Black Mafia family has officially snapped on Rick Ross after finding out Ross straight up cut him off. Yeah, the same Rick Ross who built his whole boss image off Meech's legacy. Now, Meech is calling him out for being fake, and fans are saying it's about time somebody said it loud. For years, Ross wrapped himself in the BMF image, like it was designer fabric, the luxury cars, the power moves, the boss talk, the whole street royalty vibe. Everything that made him look untouchable came from the aura Meech created back in the day. But now that Meech is sitting behind bars and can't step out to defend his name, Ross has been moving like that connection never even existed. And trust, Meech's circle noticed that quick.
Ricky Rose, the time has come. Meech on. February 13th, get your tickets right now, it's going down. We know Florida gonna be there, Miami gonna be there. The legend himself gonna be in the building, making history. Meech, who else coming?
The whole nation, Detroit, St. Louis, California, everybody. Atlanta, Georgia, ATL, stand up.
Woo. We're gonna make history, get your tickets right.
They see the silence, the distance, and the fake loyalty. Let's take it back to 2010 when Rick Ross dropped Blowin' Money Fast, BMF. That song wasn't just a hit, it was a movement. Every DJ was spinning it, every car was blasting it, every block from Atlanta to Detroit knew the lyrics by heart. When Ross shouted, "I think I'm Big Meech, Larry Hoover," the world looked at him like the new street general. Overnight, his boss persona was stamped in hip-hop history. Fans believed Ross and Meech were tight, especially since Meech's brother, Southwest T, showed love to Ross in interviews, calling it respect for the culture. But fast forward more than 10 years later, and the tables turned hard. Reports say Meech's people feel Ross used their legacy, got rich off the BMF image, and gave absolutely nothing back, not a word, not a visit, not even acknowledgement. Now, the streets are whispering that Big Meech wants answers and Ross can't dodge that forever. Lately, the internet's been going crazy over some leaked letters and messages that supposedly came straight from inside, and they hint that Big Meech is completely done with Rick Ross.
I feel bad for Lil Meech. I don't feel bad for no grown man on this planet. Like, I'm a grown man. Why the f I gotta feel bad for another grown man? Like, you a grown man too. What you asking for my sympathy for? You be alright.
Word is, Meech feels like Ross used his name to climb the ladder, then turned his back once he made it to the top. In one message, Meech allegedly wrote, "Ross used my life like a mixtape and forgot the real ones behind it." If that quote is legit, that's a major accusation. Imagine being locked up, watching someone build a whole brand off your story, your energy, your legacy, and not even pick up the phone to salute you. That's exactly how Meech feels right now, like Ross took the crown, ran off with the BMF legacy, and left the real king behind bars with no credit. Ross, of course, hasn't said a word. That's his move every time the heat turns up. Instead of addressing the drama, he'll post a pic of his mansion, his car collection, or a pool party and act like nothing's wrong. But silence can be louder than words, and this time, it made the situation explode. Because then 50 Cent jumped in, and you already know, when 50 enters a situation like this, he's not holding back. He dropped a cold message saying, "You can't steal another man's life and call yourself real." The internet instantly lit up because everyone knew exactly who that was aimed at Ross. 50's been waiting to take another jab at him for years, and Meech's anger gave him the perfect setup.
Have you ever seen anybody confront Rick Ross about you?
Not in person, no. Anytime I'm around, he disappears.
But is there any video of anybody like, hey, why are you running around with this dude's name?
From there, fans started connecting dots fast. They noticed Ross stopped mentioning Meech or BMF in interviews, cut off any talk about the legacy, and even unfollowed people still tied to that circle. It's like he hit delete on the whole connection. And when someone built half their image off your story, that kind of silence feels like betrayal. And in the streets, silence mixed with betrayal doesn't just fade away, it turns into talk, whispers, and then full-blown conversations. To really understand why Meech feels so disrespected, You gotta look back at how deep their bond once was, because what they had wasn't just industry talk, it was real street loyalty turned sour. Back in the mid-2000s, when BMF was still running the streets, Big Meech was already a living legend. The flashy cars, the wild mansion parties, the music, the diamonds, the way he moved it was bigger than life. Meech wasn't just hustling, he was shaping the culture, putting money behind up-and-coming artists before anyone even knew their names. That whole luxurious, bossed-up lifestyle.
I wasn't going to address this because I'm not trying to let nobody trick me off the streets. But I never folded, never told, never will. Death before dishonor, always with me. So I'm doing this for my loved ones and the support of my friends and family.
It inspired a generation of rappers, and Rick Ross was one of the first to turn that energy into a brand. Ross built his boss image straight out of Meech's playbook. From the Maybachs to the gold chains, the velvet robes, the cigar smoke, everything about Ross's persona screamed BMF energy. For a while, it really looked like he was showing love, paying homage to the man who defined street royalty. But then everything started to shift once those rumors about Ross's past as a corrections officer hit the internet. Suddenly, people started asking the question Ross hated most. Is he really who he says he is? That's when using Meech's name became more than a salute, it became a lifeline to keep his street credibility alive. Ross leaned deeper into the BMF image, performing like he was the movement, while the real Big Meech was sitting in a courtroom fighting for his freedom. Still, Meech never publicly threw shade. Those close to him said he just hoped Ross would one day show some love back, maybe a donation to the BMF family still holding it down, a shout out to the brothers struggling on the inside, something. But that never happened. Not a word, not a gesture, not even acknowledgement. Meanwhile, Ross built empires, dropping hit after hit, launching MMG, Maybach Music Group, and living out the boss fantasy he modeled after Meech's real life. The mansions, the bottles, the music videos, all that came from a lifestyle Meech actually lived, not just rapped about. That's where the tension really started bubbling under the surface. Then came the BMF TV series, produced by 50 Cent, a project that finally brought Meech's real story to light. And when fans noticed Ross had nothing to do with it, the internet started asking, if he was so BMF, why isn't he showing love to the show? That question didn't just float around online, it made its way all the way to Meech's cell. And not long after, reports started spreading that Meech was frustrated and felt used. He allegedly told his close circle, "He was never one of us." That one line said it all. Years of quiet loyalty turned into cold disappointment. He played the part but never paid the price. That one line spread like wildfire through the streets and the internet. And of course, 50 Cent, being 50, couldn't resist throwing gasoline on the fire during an Instagram live. He laughed and said, Ross thought he was Meech, but the real Meech just woke up. The comment section exploded. Fans flooded the chat saying 50 was speaking for every real one who's ever watched somebody fake the lifestyle for fame and profit. Ross, as usual, didn't clap back publicly. He never does when 50 steps into the mix. But insiders say behind the scenes, he was heated. People close to his camp said Ross felt totally disrespected, claiming he's always shown Meech love through his music and lyrics. But the truth is, love without loyalty doesn't hit the same. Posting lyrics isn't the same as standing by someone when they're down. And when you really think about it, you can see why Meech is fuming behind bars. All he sees is people getting rich off his legacy rappers using his name for hits, TV producers turning his life into series, brands milking the BMF story while the man who actually lived it is sitting in a cell. Meech feels like Ross was supposed to hold it down, to keep that respect alive, to represent the real movement with honor. Instead, Ross cashed in, moved on, and left Meech in the rearview mirror. That's not business, that's betrayal. And now, the plot's thickening fast because 50 Cent isn't just reacting, he's strategizing. He knows exactly how to turn real-life tension into entertainment gold. The moment word of Meech's anger hit the blogs, 50 went into full showman mode, posting memes, dropping slick captions, and cutting clips straight from the BMF TV series. One post stood out heavy. It read, "Real BMF business, not the rap version." Fans went crazy. Everyone knew who that message was aimed at. It was 50's way of drawing a line between the real and the fake, between Meech, who lived it, and Ross, who performed it. It was like 50 was saying loud and clear, this is what authenticity really looks like. This wasn't about some rap persona made for the charts anymore. This was real life. Ross tried to play it cool, acting like none of the noise could touch him. He kept dropping pictures of his mansion, showing off his rare cars and exotic animals, posting captions like, "Real bosses stay unbothered." But the internet wasn't buying it this time. Those same posts blew up in his face, with comment sections full of fans saying, "Meech made you," and "Stop flexing off another man's story." And you already know, once the internet smells weakness, it's over. They don't let things die down, they devour it. Suddenly, Ross's image as the untouchable boss started to crack right in front of everyone's eyes. For the first time, people began questioning the foundation of his whole persona. Was it really built on power, or just borrowed from the legend of BMF? Meanwhile, word from the inside says Big Meech has been moving carefully, reaching out through letters and trusted sources to make sure his side of the truth finally gets out. He's tired of people twisting his name and his story for profit. In one message that allegedly leaked, Meech wrote, "I don't need credit, but I deserve respect." That line hit the culture hard. It summed everything up. He's not chasing fame, he's demanding authenticity. Because in the streets, loyalty is everything, and loyalty doesn't stop when the cameras turn off or the money starts rolling in. It's supposed to last. This whole situation exploded online and turned into a digital storm. Every podcast, every hip-hop blog, every YouTube channel started debating it heavy. It became Team Meech versus Team Ross. Of course, 50 Cent couldn't resist keeping the flames lit. He kept hinting that he might even include Ross in a future BMF episode just to show the difference between acting like a boss and being one. That's classic 50 petty, hilarious, and strategic all at once. Fans ate it up, saying he was doing what Ross never did, protecting the real story and honoring the people behind it. Then came another blow to Ross's reputation. People started comparing how 50 treated Meech's family versus how Ross moved. 50 has kept a solid relationship with Meech's son, Lil Meech, who actually plays his father on the show. He promotes him, supports him, and always gives credit where it's due. Meanwhile, Ross? Nowhere to be found. No shoutouts, no love, not even a single mention. Fans called it out immediately, saying it's beyond disrespectful for a man who built part of his career off Meech's legacy to stay this silent. At that point, it wasn't just about rap anymore, it was about respect. You could feel the energy shifting everywhere, like people suddenly realizing that maybe 50 Cent had been right this whole time. In hip-hop, perception is everything, and right now, Rick Ross looks cornered. He can't clap back at 50 because 50 owns the narrative. He can't deny Big Meech's words because those words carry real street weight. And if he stays silent, it just makes him look guilty in the eyes of everyone watching. Either way, Ross is stuck, and 50 is sitting back having the time of his life, watching it all unfold like a movie. So what happens next? Because this situation isn't cooling off, it's heating up by the day. The tension between Big Meech, Rick Ross, and 50 Cent has officially turned into a full-blown cultural moment. Fans aren't letting it slide anymore. They're demanding Ross respond directly to Meech, not through mansion selfies, not through boss captions, but with real words and real accountability. They want to hear him show respect, admit where he went wrong, or at least clear the air with honesty. But knowing Ross, he's probably hoping this whole thing fades out with time, that if he stays quiet long enough, people will get distracted and move on. The only problem? 50 Cent doesn't let things go. He just doubled down in a new interview, saying, "Everybody want to be real until it's time to be real." Meech was the blueprint, Ross just photocopied it. That quote went viral instantly. Blogs, podcasts, and even major outlets picked it up, and the pressure on Ross skyrocketed overnight. Because when 50 locks onto a target, it's over. He doesn't stop, and he doesn't miss. He's the master of turning real-life beef into branding, flipping tension into pure entertainment. And right now, Ross's silence is doing him no favors. It's making him look like he's running from the truth. Fans all over social media are saying the same thing. You can't call yourself the biggest boss if the real boss just checked you. That line hit hard because, for once, the people aren't defending the image, they're defending the authenticity. Meanwhile, sources close to Meech say he's not even caught up in the drama. He's focused, spiritual, and at peace with himself. He's not trying to start chaos. He just wants the truth to be told the right way. That's why his words hit so deep. It's not about hate. It's about honor, respect, and reclaiming a legacy that got twisted by fame. And as all eyes stay locked on what Ross does next, one thing's for sure, silence won't save him this time. It's about honor. In a world where everybody's faking power for likes and clout, Big Meech is reminding people what real respect actually looks like. That's why fans are standing behind him, because they can feel this isn't some publicity stunt. It's personal, it's raw, it's one man reclaiming his legacy after watching the world twist it for over a decade. Now, Rick Ross is standing at a serious crossroads. If he apologizes, he admits he was wrong. But if he ignores it, he looks fake, like the boss image was just a costume. Either way, the damage is already done. The man who once rapped, "I think I'm Big Meech now," looks like the opposite. And 50 Cent? He's loving every second of it. Every time Ross posts something online, whether it's a car, a mansion, or another boss life caption, 50 slides in with a meme or a slick comment just to remind everyone, you borrowed that boss talk. It's brutal, but it's hilarious. The internet is eating it up, and Ross can't post a thing without the comment section turning into a roast session. But here's the truth, this isn't just about beef, it's about legacy. Big Meech built something that still echoes through hip-hop decades later. His name carries weight because it's built on loyalty, on real moves, not fabricated stories. Ross might have borrowed the energy, but you can't fake authenticity forever. Eventually, the truth always comes knocking, and 50 Cent just used his platform to make sure the world heard it loud and clear. Now, the streets are buzzing, the blogs are on fire, and everybody's waiting to see what happens next. Will Ross finally speak up, or will he let the silence finish what 50 started? Because one thing's for sure, you don't play with legends, and you definitely don't try to rewrite history when the man who lived it is still here to check you. And if the rumors are true, Rick Ross just learned that lesson the hard way, because when Big Meech speaks, the whole culture listens. His message couldn't have been clearer. You can't cut off the real and expect to stay real yourself. If you made it this far, make sure you hit that like, subscribe, and share this video with your people. Drop your thoughts in the comments, and let me know, do you think Ross owes Meech a public apology, or has the damage already gone too far? I'll see you on the next one.